Welcome, everyone. I am back again with Klaus. I always love chatting with Klaus because, I was joking with Klaus before we started. So, Klaus, why do you always take the hard topic? I mean, software design, it's like if I look at the standard, I can be like, yeah, this is the way memory works. This is the way this works. But software design is like the biggest gray area I can think of.
That's correct. So, indeed, it would be so much easier to talk about C++20 features, but I think there's not enough talks about software design in general. This is why I think I actually should talk about the things that are not covered.
Yeah,
And I'm still super convinced that this is the thing that people need most. So, if you get your architecture right, your design, I think that the project might be a success. If you don't get the architecture right, you can know all the features, you can implement everything wonderfully, it will still not work. And so
that's interesting because the amount of times I think of painting myself into a corner because I didn't get the design right.
yeah,
So, but to that part, so you've got training coming up at CPP and it's
mhm,
on software design. And even I'm like, I can see going to this a couple times because it seems like it's one of those things that's kind of the reason why we rewrite code is you learn
yeah.
it as you do it. It's not something that, you know, um I mean that's the way it is, isn't it?
To some extent it is, and this is something that is unavoidable. You
Yeah.
get better due to experience. But if you would have a couple of hints what you should do in order to do your design right, then of course things get so much easier.
Mhm.
Hopefully even the first time, which is rare, but hints do help. And this is what the training class is about, to make people think a little more about architecture, not just about implementation details, to make them realize that it does matter, and not just a little bit, but a lot.
Yeah.
That some things that currently in the community everybody feels is the solution.
Mhm.
Yeah, hint. I'm talking about student variant now.
Yeah.
Replace virtual functions with standard variant. This has such a tremendous architectural impact. You can mess up your architecture with this so much that I think we should really talk about this. So this is what I cover in my training class, which again is about the story from classic object-oriented programming to the modern forms today,
Mhm.
which includes standard variant, absolutely, but also other forms. And then also, additionally, this year I have this pretty amazing honor to do a keynote at CPP OnSea. This is, of course, also covering this topic, software design, and why it does matter.
So the title of it, There's No Silver Bullet, I really like because it just, you know, it would be nice if we just had, here's the 5-step plan, you just follow it. But like we're saying, on one hand, if you're designing something with a lot of concurrency versus if you're designing something that's on embedded hardware versus there's just so many variations. It makes me think of the amount of times in your book, which I love, by the way. I think I want to say, or even in classes I've taken with you, you're like, it depends.
Always. There is no solution that works for everything. And this is what I feel is so important. This is why we should talk more about this. Some solutions are super beautiful, super fast, which is important in the C++ community, but still they are not the solution for everything.
Yeah.
It always depends. Pretty important point that I'm trying to make.
So your class is still, even though you're doing software design, the time that I took your class, which I greatly enjoyed, you're still, as a trainer, you believe hands on, right? I mean, you kind of have a mix of both. You're explaining things, but then there's practical usage of it so that you kind of gain that, I say, fixed knowledge. Like hearing a speech helps, but actually doing it
Yeah,
myself is how I cement it.
exactly. And that's the point. If I tell you this is the solution for this particular problem, then you would say, okay, great, but you might not remember in the right at the right moment. And so I feel hands-on programming tasks help a lot. I guess there is a 25 to 33%, so a quarter to a third of the time spent on programming exercises. Yeah, I think this is a reasonable amount of time,
Mhm.
and it definitely solidifies the experience.
Yeah, because I didn't take your software design class. I think it was 2019 CPP Con that I took
Mhm.
uh, your class. And
Might have been
even
the first
then,
time.
it
Yeah.
was, the struggling through a problem and then having people next to you helping you, and you were coming around helping. It's like, um, yeah, I recently did a class at another conference, and that's the part that, really kind of sets it. The person coming behind, oh, you're
Mhm.
close here, maybe try this, maybe try
Mhm.
that. And then once it clicks, it's like, it's it's
Yeah.
just different than, any, at least for me, it's different than any other learning. Cause then it's like, oh, you get that kind of aha moment,
Yeah.
which,
And this is what sticks to your brain. And suddenly you
yes,
can use it. Yeah. This is now the experience that you can use in your own project productively. That makes the difference from my point of view.
absolutely. So we're 1 month out roughly where we're at right now. And you got a wonderful class coming up. So if you aren't signed up for taking software design with Klaus, you want to. This is probably you always want to have Klaus come to your company to do training. So he is available for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, but barring that, come take the class at CPP on C. And then you're the last keynote, as you mentioned, on
I am.
Friday. You
Yeah.
know,
So
now,
all the keynotes usually are very, very focused on making people even more excited.
yes.
On the last keynote, I'm supposed to send people home. Let's see how this works.
There's the flip side that the last keynote they put someone really good there so that they make sure everyone stays through. So I'm betting on that being the reason.
Okay. I hope
So
so.
I'm sure it is, Klaus. I look forward to seeing you at CPP on C. I appreciate you joining me today.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.